Hey guys, what is up and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new here. Don't forget to hit that big red subscribe button and hit the bell icon and set your notifications to all, that way you never miss a future upload. Another day, another drama channel drama, and today we have Lushious Massacr and Joella calling out Rich Lux. Now if you haven't seen my previous video titled paigey calls out Lavender Beauty, I will link that in a card up over here, as well as down in the description box down below, so definitely make sure you go and check that out as well. Alright, let's go ahead and get on into it. So if you're unaware, the other day, Dustin Dailey took to Twitter to air out his grievances with his friendship with Rich Lux. If you haven't seen that video, I'll definitely place a card for that video as well, and I'll link that down in the description box so you can go get caught up on all of that as well. Well, since all that has come out, Lushious Massacr and Joella have released a podcast where they talk about the entire situation. Now, the podcast was an hour and 45 minutes long, so I will definitely be giving you the breakdown of everything that they said in that podcast. I have a ton of notes, so I just have a bunch of stuff jotted down that I'll read off my notes, and I'll let you guys know what they're talking about in my opinion. Alright, let's go ahead and get on into it. Alright, so I have a book full of notes here, so let's go ahead and get started. So one of the first things that Lushious Massacr said was, Lushious Massacr made a mistake associating herself with Rich Lux. Now, I don't really think that she can say that she made a mistake associating herself with Rich Lux because she believed that Rich was a good person and that's why they became friends in the first place. Did that turn out to be not true according to her? Absolutely, yes, so she's entitled to have those feelings now, but when she first met Rich and was hanging out with Rich, she clearly liked the person that he was and didn't have a problem with things that he was doing until later on. Going on, Lushious Massacr says that none of her friends liked Rich Lux from the beginning. They said that he was acting pretty snotty and that he was basically stunting all the time and that they just didn't like his vibe. So that could have been an indicator to Lushious about Rich's personality as she perceives it now, but at the time, she didn't have a problem with it again because she stayed friends with him for over 10 years. Next, Lushious Massacr said that Dustin Dailey, Nick Snyder, and Teresa Roma are not your friends. They only became your friends because of what you have to offer. Now, according to Dustin Dailey, he's been friends with Rich for a while, back when Rich only had a few thousand subscribers, so if he was only using Rich for what he could offer, what did he have to offer at the time? According to Dustin, at the time that him and Rich became friends, Dustin was getting more views on his videos than Rich was, so how was Dustin using him at that time? I don't really understand that, but again, that's just what Lushious Massacr has to say. As far as Nick Snyder, I don't really know. I know that they had a beef back in the day, and then they became friends, and I don't really know if they really used each other, and I don't know, I mean, they could have technically have used each other in the beginning to get more views, because they both did have large platforms. Now, as far as Teresa Romer goes, I feel like Teresa Romer is 100% using Rich Lux for whatever he can give her. Obviously, Rich has a lot more subscribers than Teresa does. Teresa barely had any subscribers when they first started hanging out, and then all of a sudden now she's up to over 100,000 subscribers, so I think that Teresa Romer used him, and let's be honest, Teresa Romer said in the interview that she doesn't have any YouTube friends, and that her YouTube quote-unquote friends that she does have are all just business transactions at the end of the day. They're never going to be in her inner circle. So yes, 100% I believe that Teresa Romer is using Rich Lux. As far as Dustin Dailey and Nick Snyder, I don't believe that. Next, Lushious says that they're going to turn on you one day. So he was basically saying, hey look, I told you guys so, that this is how Rich is, and then eventually everybody's going to turn on you. So Teresa's going to turn on you, Dustin's going to turn on you, Nick's going to turn on you, and this is kind of like a big I told you so podcast where they're like, Dustin, I know exactly what you're going through. I was feeling the same thing. Now, do I think that Nick is going to turn on Rich? I mean, unless something happens behind the scenes, I don't think so. It seems like they have a very good friendship. Nick did say in the podcast that his friendship with Dustin is closer than his friendship with Rich, but just because one friendship is closer than the other doesn't mean that he's going to turn on his other friend because another friend of his is not getting along with that friend. As far as Teresa Romer goes, I feel like Teresa Romer will turn on Rich in a drop of a hat, let's just be honest. Next, Lushious said that Rich said that he cannot wait for the day that she is no longer on YouTube. According to Lushious Massacr and Joella, behind the scenes, they said that Rich didn't like the fact that Lushious Massacr was getting some kind of notoriety and attention, and he couldn't wait for her to no longer be on YouTube. Now, they didn't say around what time this happened. Maybe this happened when Lushious and Rich had their falling out, and Lushious said that she didn't want to do videos on his channel anymore. I don't know because they didn't tell us when this actually happened, but that's what they said in the podcast. Next, Lushious said that Dustin Dailey, Rich Lux, and Nick Snyder were trying to sabotage her all the time when she was in LA, and that's the reason why she left LA. Now, did Dustin and Nick go after Lushious after she released her video on Rich Lux? Yes, absolutely, I'm not going to deny that. But there was also a time, too, when she said, stop bullying me, and they stopped talking about her, but at the same time, she then continued to talk about them, so they then responded, and it just was like this whole back and forth thing. So do I think that they were trying to ruin and sabotage her career? No, but do I think that they still had their back and forth, and that did mess with her mentally? Absolutely. But they always said nonstop when they were talking about Lushious that they never took away from her artistry as a makeup artist. They always said that she is amazing at makeup. Why are you not focusing on makeup instead of the drama? Lushious then agreed with Dustin that Rich's behavior with people and his assistants is not right. If you're not sure what I'm talking about there, Dustin did talk about that in the podcast where he just said that he didn't like the way that he was treating people that were around him, and Lushious agrees with Dustin that the way that he treats people around him is not right. Lushious then went on to say that she did stand up for herself when it came to Rich Lux, but she told you so when it came to him. So that was in response to Dustin Dailey saying that he didn't like the way that Rich was treating people. Next, Lushious says that Dustin Dailey and Nick Snyder were poisoned by Rich Lux to make them hate her. So Lushious thinks that Rich Lux was feeding Dustin Dailey and Nick Snyder lies about her, so that way they would side with Rich and not like Lushious Massacre, according to Lushious. Next, Joella said that Rich Lux called Lushious Massacre lazy and said she's never going to make it. So again, Joella is saying that behind the scenes, Rich Lux would talk about Lushious Massacre and say that she's lazy, she's never going to do anything with her life, she's not going to make it, she's too lazy, she's not putting in the work. And I know that Dustin Dailey has said the same thing. He talked about it in a tweet a while back. He said that Lushious one day said that when they were walking to the Galleria, maybe it was in a video he said, they were in the Galleria or something, and he's like, oh, why aren't you doing a video or something? And she's like, oh, I'll do one later, I'm just, not feeling it, all my fans pay my bills, something like that. I don't know, it was in one of his videos, I'm pretty sure. Joella then goes on to say that Rich Lux used Lushious Massacre because he didn't know who Rich Lux was, yet earlier in the podcast he referred to Rich Lux as his friend and said that he met Lushious Massacre through Rich Lux and then called Lushious Massacre an acquaintance. So I'm not really sure, were you friends with Rich Lux first? Were you friends with Lushious Massacre first? You said that you knew Lushious through her videos and through her artistry and through the drag scene, but then from what I can tell, you were friends with Rich Lux first, and that's how you met Lushious Massacre. So I'm confused on how you're saying that Rich Lux used Lushious Massacre when, from what I understand, you were friends with Rich Lux first. If anybody knows how the relationships all played out, let me know down in the comments below, because this one confused me a little bit. Lushious Massacre then goes on to say that Rich Lux is in the business of ruining people's careers. Now, do I think that Rich Lux is in the business of ruining people's careers? No. As drama channels and commentary channels, it's our job to talk about people and things that they're doing. I don't think that he's maliciously set out to ruin anybody's career. Lushious Massacre then goes on to say that Rich Lux was talking about Lushious Massacre while she was at BeautyCon and that she was called a leech. Now, do I think it's okay to be going to other people and calling them a leech and saying that they're using you for other people? Absolutely not. Like, if you're going to be going to an event and talking bad about other people, I don't think that that is right at all. Lushious Massacre then went on to say that Rich Lux would degrade her in front of other people, and then followed it up by saying, friends should uplift you and not make you feel like crap. And I 100% agree with Lushious. If you're friends with someone, you should be uplifting them and not making fun of them based on their economical status or anything like that. Lushious then went on to say that Rich Lux is a master manipulator and he knows how to get people to do what he wants. And going back to the fake it till you make it thing, this is what I was talking about earlier. Lushious said that Rich flew to Paris for 24 hours, ran around to all the tourist spots, and took photos, and then posted them for a month afterwards to make it look like he was in Paris for a month when he was actually back in Houston. Now, does this surprise me at all? No, I feel like a lot of influencers do this. Again, it's that fake it till you make it mentality, like, hey, look at me, I'm in Paris, I'm here for an entire month, living my best life, but they run around and they take photos in all these spots, and like, oh, yep, and then they're posting it back at their house, they change the location to say that they're at the location that they're actually not at. I know that other people have been caught doing this before, so this doesn't really surprise me that somebody else has done this. Lushious Massacre then goes on to say that Rich Lux doesn't care about anybody but himself. Joella then jumps in and says that Rich Lux told her that Nick Snyder and him aren't friends and it was all for views. He said that Rich Lux would talk down to people then pretend to be their friends. Now, like I said, Rich and Nick had a beef back in the day and then they became friends after that. Of course, when they were first hanging out, it was probably just to hang out and get some views, and after that a friendship developed. And it happens, like, you hang out with somebody, you're going to become their friend. If you don't like that person, you're not going to hang out with them anymore. I'm sorry. Yeah, you might be getting the views, but if you can't stand to be around somebody, then you're not going to be around them, let's just be honest. But as far as like the whole views thing goes, remember that Nick and Rich were dating for a while or whatever. Like, obviously we all know that that was fake and they were doing it for attention, but let's be honest, it was a stunt. Like, everybody saw it, but some people believed it, some people didn't. But let's be honest, again, it got people talking and they were both in on it. So it was like they were using each other for the views. It's not like one was using the other one and the other one was just along for the ride. Joella then went on to say that she has respect for Dustin Dailey because she had the same talks with Rich Lux, and at the end of the conversations, Rich turned to her and said, wait, were you being serious? So it looks like they might have a little bit of common ground there where, like, okay, Dustin, you understand where we were coming from earlier when we said that, this is how Rich was behind the scenes. And again, it was like a big I told you so, but at the same time, she's like, I respect you for calling him out because this is what we were seeing as well, and we tried to have conversations with him, and this is what happened, this is what he said to us. Lushious Massacre then said that Rich Lux would do whatever it takes to win. Joella then jumps in and said that Rich Lux would send her money whenever she said anything positive about him, and said that if he would keep doing it, that he would keep sending her more money. Lushious then goes on to say that Rich has no friends except for the people that he pays. Lushious then went on to say that Rich Lux would buy makeup, do a review, and film a video, and then he would return the products. And he wouldn't return the products himself, he would then make an assistant go and take his credit card back to the Galleria and make them return the products for him, so in that way he made money off of the video and he didn't actually have to spend the money on the products. Lushious then went on to say that Rich Lux would buy Louis Vuitton, take a picture, and then return it for a stunt for a picture. So again, with the makeup, he would buy it, use it for whatever he needed to use it, and then have somebody return it for him. But that is basically everything that they had to say about Rich Lux in the video. I will have another video coming out about everything that they had to say about Nick Snyder and Dustin Dailey in another video, so definitely stay tuned for that. But I'd love to know what you guys think about everything that they said down in the comments below. If you like this video, make sure you go ahead and hit that like button. Also, make sure you hit that big red subscribe button and hit the bell icon and set your notifications to all so you never miss a future upload. Alright, that's everything for today, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!